Dahanjo, everybody. Matt the Greeter. Oh man, I had to turn the camera on. I'm behind a guy with 3 Rush stickers in his back windshield. So you gotta respect a guy with not 1, 2, but 3 Rush stickers. A trio, 3 members. Anyway, yeah, just hey man, some of you guys know I got a Canada fixation, right? Somehow there was a whole stretch of time where I was like, you know, I love this band. Oh, where are they from? Canada. Oh, have you heard this band? Yeah, where are they from? Canada. Well, like this was happening at an eerie rate. So yeah, I have definitely a Canada fixation when it comes to a lot of things. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Yeah, I had another musical topic that I wanted to discuss your way, and so here goes. And oh yeah, just yeah, a couple of you guys asked. Yeah, it's been a while since I've sort of like whatever, who cares? But anyway, I start my videos and I always say Dahanjo. So what is that? What is Dahanjo? So Dahanjo is a Jicarilla Apache greeting. And so I learned Dahanjo after really kind of getting into the artwork of Rod Velarde. Rod Velarde is a Jicarilla Apache artist, and he does really cool work, and I dig it. It would make great tattoo designs. So yeah, I don't know, I just got in the habit of saying Dahanjo. You know, just about the only blood I don't have in my mutt body of mine is like native, you know, indigenous blood. I don't have any Asian blood that I know of either, but you know, I got just about everything else, so so there you go. Yeah, so thus Dahanjo. When I say Dahanjo, feel greeted in the spirit of whatever, spirit of radio. How about that for Rush? Anyhow, yeah, I was thinking about concerts, and you know, so recently I had the opportunity to see Metallica. Can you hear me? Sorry, got a little heavy on the throttle here. We're hitting a fast road up ahead. But anyhow, yeah, I had the privilege of seeing Metallica, and it was a great show. I had the privilege of seeing Best of the Eagles. It was a great show, and I've been playing live music. Some of you guys know that I'm the point person on the worship team at my church. So these are 3 sort of different styles of music, you know, at face value. But there are a lot of similarities. Similarities between Metallica and worship music? Well, yeah. Anyhow, so which is the most satisfying? Which do I prefer? Which was the best, quote unquote? And yeah, some of you guys know I've seen Rush probably 5-6 times. Obviously Neil Peart has passed on, so Rush is no more. And but yeah, I mean, unbelievable shows. That's a band that got better with age, in my experience. And but anyhow, Metallica. I read one review that was sort of, they complained a bit in the newspaper. It wasn't really well, my parents get the newspaper, and my mom will cut out stuff she thinks might be of interest. And yeah, this one guy was complaining about stuff, and I don't think he was. I think the problem was his expectations for a concert taking place in a American football stadium. So I saw Metallica, as did the reviewer. We saw Metallica in Foxborough, Massachusetts, at Gillette Stadium, the home of the New England Patriots. And my expectations were very low as far as what sound would be like in a American football stadium. And I was very surprised at how good it was. But this guy apparently was kind of thinking he was seeing them at the Troubadour or somewhere, I don't know, or maybe at the Orpheum in Boston. So this guy was disappointed somehow. And that's kind of a bummer, because it was not a disappointing set. You know what I mean? It was actually very good. So expectation there. So did I enjoy Metallica? Yes, very much I enjoyed Metallica. Didn't enjoy the drive out of there or the massive crowd funneling into the stadium. But once we were in there, there was plenty of room to move around. Plenty of bathrooms, although I'm pretty sure there was pee on the ceiling. But I mean, that's an American football stadium for you. That's like really the typical American yeehaw culture in action there. So, you know, again, if you expect a clean bathroom in an American football stadium, I think that perhaps your expectations need a little jiggling. Then there's Best of the Eagles, where I saw in a small theater in Norwood, Massachusetts, called Norwood Theater. And yeah, very clean venue, very clean bathrooms, small, and you know, more of an intimate setting. And that, I very much enjoyed that show. Plenty of room to move around. You know, of course, you're funneling into the venue, and you know, you're stuck shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of people you don't know, which I don't care for. But that's like, you know, that's part of the initiation to get in, I suppose. And that was a great show. And then when talk about playing music, usually it's you know, 3 songs to start and a song to close. So it's about 4 songs, you know, minus the rehearsal ahead of time, sound check and all that, where we do play through you know, as much as we can in an hour or whatever. So it's not just the 4 songs, but you know, the 4 songs is the set. You know, and do I enjoy that? Well, yes, I very much enjoy that as well. You know, that is different than the little 3-piece rock trio that I was in when I was in my, you know, 20s and 30s, that did not gig more than like once a year, or sometimes we would help out at a local high school. I don't know if that constituted a gig, but we'd play a set, and then we'd you know, sometimes we'd back up the chorus or back up the band, the student band, and that was a lot of fun too. I don't know if you could consider that a gig. It was certainly non-paying. But what of all of that do I prefer? Oh, Beamer. And I got to tell you, I don't know. I don't know, because there's great attributes to all of the above. So Metallica, there's a band that I never thought I would get to see live, and I got to see them, and not only that, but got to see them with Robert Trujillo on bass. You know, most of you know that I do love bass. I'm a bass player, although in my current worship iteration I'm not playing bass, but I am a bass player, and I very much appreciate the bass work of Robert Trujillo, for sure. If you haven't seen Robert Trujillo or heard him, you know, check him out. Trujillo, Trujillo. He's from Mexico, and he is a killer bass player. Played with Infectious Grooves and Suicidal Tendencies, and now the mighty Metallica. So good stuff. So yeah, I very much enjoyed hearing those songs in a live setting. I think that was fantastic, and something that I never could have foreseen seeing. So great. So that was awesome. You know, you get the lights, the sound, an animated crowd. In this case, it was a very animated crowd of appreciators. Best of the Eagles, small setting. You know, I've talked to members of the band a few times, and so there's that real family feel in a setting like that. Their sound has gotten better and better and better, but getting in and out of the venue, it's a small town. Well, it's a very growing town. I don't know, 34,000 people. That's a small town. Some of you guys live in smaller towns, but I don't know, like Norwood is growing fast, so I don't know if it'll be a small town, or if it even is considered a small town numbers wise. I don't know what the average is in the United States, or you know, Canada or whatever, but 34,000, not a big town. but you get the it's a small town theater, and so getting home, we live 10 minutes away, something like that, and so you just walk to your car and just drive to your driveway. Like, you're not funneled into a huge, you know, coiling snake of disembarkment, you know what I mean? It's just, you just get in your car and you go home, and it's really nice. so that's advantageous. Is it a better show than Metallica? I'm not sure. It's different, and if you just want to like head in, see a good show, and head home, you grab dinner beforehand, then it is a great show. And then there's the worship gig, which, you know, I am an uncomfortable acoustic guitar player, and right now we have, you know, like I said, a bass player, an official bass player, and he's very good and loves to play. So I don't need to play bass anymore in that band, aka I don't get to play bass in that band anymore. But you know, I'm finding that it's been really good for me, and I haven't missed it because I've been working on my acoustic guitar chops, and I've been improving as a I've played acoustic guitar for many years, but it's been like living room settings or bedroom setting, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter, like tempo, not so much. Kind of strum any way I want because I'm singing with myself, and so I'm adjusting accordingly, you know what I mean? I know what I'm going to strum and I know what I'm trying to sing, and so, you know, I can stay with myself. But if I'm playing in a band, an actual band with a drummer, an electric guitar player, you know, sometimes a piano player, sometimes we got a really professional violin player as well. So like, I need to sort of play like someone who knows how to play the acoustic guitar. So therein has lied the challenge. So it's not as long a thing as like going to Best of the Eagles or Metallica. It's a short set, really, and but there is a sense of relief when it's over, and many of you guys who play know what I'm talking about. Like, playing music, you know, when you're up there and you're in it, it's great, you know, but there's a lot to factor in, a lot to account for, and so you know, there isn't a lot of time to just sit back and appreciate what's happening in a set that's 4 songs, you know what I mean? There's a lot of focus. People are sort of depending on you playing your part and playing it well, and your motive is to play something that is not distracting necessarily, that's good professionally, but is not distracting to the purpose of what worship is, and that is not performing, but actually, I would say, sort of displaying your gifts and talents in a manner that elevates the creator who gave those gifts and talents, right? So the focus is not on the band or the songs, it's on the creator, right? But if you play bad, or if you play a little too good, that focus can be lost. So there's a fine line, there's a real balance that has to be achieved there, and that makes playing effective worship music a challenge. And again, some people really like the spotlight and they love the performance of it, but I would say that's performance, that's not necessarily worship, right? And then there's other people who are like, oh, it's worship, so you can worship, you know, you don't, oh, if your guitar's a little out of tune, that's okay, and you know, the drummer can't keep a beat, that's okay, it's worship. Well, no, that's distracting, and that is also not effective worship, you know what I mean? So worship music gets a very bad rap, and some of that is, you know, just because of either people's expectations of what it should be, or just very poor execution, or something in those lines, you know what I mean? So but being able to get into a song like that, or a set like that, and then when you're done and you can walk off stage, there is a feeling of relief that is very satisfying, and it kind of makes you want to do it again. Do you know what I mean? So there's the natural human reaction of, you've put yourself in a place of, of stress and focus and great intensity, and then when it's over, there's the relief. It's kind of like playing paintball. You may have a little trepidation entering the paintball arena, and then once the firing starts, there's a lot to concentrate on, you know, and sometimes you make mistakes and it stings. And then when it's over, even if you didn't think you were going to have a good time, a lot of times you're like, can we do it again? Like, when can we come back, you know? And that's a natural. It's the way some people eat a Carolina Reaper and they have that near-death experience, the panic and the sweat and the hallucinations, and they're like, I am never going to do that again. But then the body has that letdown, and you're like, yeah, I could go for some spicy food tonight, you know. Are we crazy? No, we're just human. Yeah, so a very long answer to a short question. Which do I prefer? I prefer all of them. I love a balance of all those situations. You know, let me see Metallica. I've seen Dream Theater a number of times, Rush a number of times. Oh man, I love it. But then there's that small feel of like Great Big Sea playing at Copley Square, a free concert in the 90s, and the best of the Eagles playing a small town theater, and that family feel. And then there's just playing live music, and I'll tell you, one thing I miss is playing in my Little Rock trio. Those were great days. Everything was new. Playing live was new. Plugging in and making a loud sound was new and wonderful, and I miss that as well, you know. So I loved those days. And then there were, you know, back in those days, I also had a jam situation where I was, you know, playing real late night jams till, you know, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, and you know, in a very I don't know, different kind of situation. I'll leave it at that. I really learned how to drone on some bass, and to play a line for 45 minutes until it just collapses in on itself and becomes something else. And there's a beauty in that. And then there was my Southern Rock jam, the 6B jam that you know, my buddy moved and that jam ended, but that was a huge and important time in my musical growth as well. Playing all that great Southern rock, a lot of